Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn about the input function in Python. The input function will somehow allow us to communicate with our users by prompting them to enter some data. So it will help us collect data from our users. For example, instead of us writing this name value all by ourselves, we want to allow our users to enter their own name. And we can do that using the input function. And within the parentheses of this input function, we want to write the message that we want to prompt to the user, surrounded by quotes. Maybe a message like enter your name, and then we will provide some space for the user to type in, and whatever the user has entered within this prompt, we want to store it in this variable name. After that, we want to print to the user, hey, your name is, and I want to concatenate this string, our name variable. Let's run our file. It will first prompt us to enter our name, let's say Ali. Then it will print to us, hey, your name is whatever you have entered as our name. Hey, your name is Ali. We also want to collect the age of our users and store it in a variable age. This variable age will be a prompt that says enter your age. After telling our users what their name is, we want to print to the user how old they are, so I can concatenate it at the end of this string that says you are, then plus whatever the user has entered as their age, plus another string that says years old. Let's run our file. Enter your name, Ali. Enter your age, let's say 24. Hey, your name is Ali. You are 24 years old. But as you can notice here, there is some collision between our variables and our strings. So let's provide some space so that it looks more readable. I can provide some space at the beginning of this string, at the end of this string, so that I can separate these variables with these strings. Also separate this variable with this string using a space. Let's run our file again. Enter your name, Ali, 24. Hey, your name is Ali. You are 24 years old. And that's how we collect inputs from a user using the input function. Now that we have learned how to collect inputs from the user using the input function, let's build a simple calculator that adds two numbers. We are going to collect these two numbers from our users and store it in a variable. Let's say variable num1 will be a prompt that says enter a number. We are going to collect these numbers from the user and store it in this num1 variable. We also want to have num2 variable. It's equal to a prompt that says enter another number. We are going to store it in this num2 variable. So we want to add this num1 and this num2 that the user has entered and print the result to the user. So it will be num1 plus num2. And whatever the outcome, we are going to store it in a variable called total. For that, we will print to the user the total of the two numbers. So the total of the two numbers is, using our total variable, we can concatenate it using a plus sign. So let's run our file. It will first prompt us to enter a number, let's say maybe 1. Enter another number, maybe 3. And our program has printed to us that the total of the two numbers is 13. And that's not what we are expecting. We are expecting our calculator to add this 1 with this 3 and give us the result of 4, right? So, but it has treated this 1 and 3 as strings and just combined them together. And that's not what we want. We want to add these two numbers. And you can do that by converting our inputs function from strings to integers. Any input value is by default a string. Any value that you have collected using the input function, even if it's a number, is by default a string. So we have to convert it from string into an integer using the int function. And you can do that by surrounding our inputs with the int method that will convert our strings into integers. This int method will be surrounded with this input function, and then it will do it for us. So let's run our file again. Enter number 1, enter number 3. And our program has crashed again after we have entered this 1 and 3, giving us this type error that says you can only concatenate strings, not integer, into strings. And this type error is raised when we are trying to combine two different and related types of objects in Python. And this error is coming from our print function this time and has nothing to do whether our numbers are strings or integers because we have already converted our numbers into integers, right? So within this print function, we are trying to combine this string and this total integer because our numbers are of type integer this time because we have already converted. So Python cannot combine two objects of different type because this is a string and this is an integer. What you can do is to convert this total into a string, and you can do that using str method. Now if we run our file again, it's giving us an error. Oh, yeah, it's okay. So if you run our file again, we enter a number 1, enter another number, maybe 3. Now it has printed that the total of our two numbers is 4, and that's what we wanted. And the point of this calculator program was for you to learn that any input value will be by default a string even if you have entered a digit in the prompt, and you will have to convert it from a string into an integer using the int method if you want to work it as a number. Let's say you have entered a 3 in the prompt, so this 3 will be by default a string, and you'll have to convert it into an integer using the int method. And by that, you'll have a 3, which is a whole number. And that's the end of this video. See you in the next video.